this is the bike of Amaël Moinard of the Fortuneo-Samsic team. Now, this is brand new for this year's Tour de France. I don't even think he's got to ride it yet. So let's have a look at this BH Ultralight and see what's so special about it. So the frame size that Moinard opts for is a size medium. He's 1.8 meters tall, which is 5'11" in old money. So if you're looking at a BH Ultralight and that's your height, well, maybe you're a medium. Now, fitted onto this frame is an FSA K-Force seat post, and as you can see, it's totally in line. There's no setback there at all. And then fitted on top of that is a Prologo Nago Evo saddle, and that's got the CPC Connect kind of tiny little grippers on top of the saddle there. So imagine a load of little octopus suckers. Basically, that's how it works. So the idea behind it is that it keeps you firmly in place so you don't slide around on top of the actual saddle itself. Now, from my understanding, that technology actually comes from racing drivers and astronauts to keep them in their respective chairs or seats. So I imagine it can do the job for a cyclist too, but of course releasing you when you do in fact need to get out of the saddle. Then moving forward then to the steering part of the bike, well, we've got an FSA OS-99 stem, and that comes in at 120 millimeters in length. Now that stem is carbon fiber and it's paired up to a pair of FSA K-Force handlebars with a slightly kind of aero top to it, but not anything too oversized or outrageous. And they're in a 40 centimeter width. Fitted to them is the SRAM Red ETAP levers, so totally wireless gear changing there. The only cables coming out of them are to control the brakes. The handlebars themselves are wrapped off in some Prologo handlebar tape with what I think are really fetching fluorescent green little finishing details on the end. I like that. Brake calipers that are connected up to those SRAM levers are the SRAM Red ones, and they're stopping a pair of Corima 47S Plus wheels. 47, that's the depth of the rim itself. Tyres fitted are tubular and they're Vittoria Corsas. Now, the hub shells on these wheels have a kind of a mottled carbon effect to them, and through tapping them, certainly do appear to be carbon there too. And I think ceramic bearings, because they run ever so smoothly when I was having a little play around with this bike earlier on. Let's have a listen then to this Corima free hub. I absolutely love them. Carbon, and they've got the Corima brand logo in there, sort of embossed in there really nicely. Nicely done, Corima. Derailleurs, both front and rear, they're courtesy of SRAM, and they're the red ETAP, so there are no wires or cables coming out of them, just giving it a super clean look. Rear cassette is 11 to 30. So there we are. It's a little bit of a change there from the normal, where we see most riders using an 1128. Chain rings though, they are very traditional for a pro rider, 5339, and they're fitted onto an FSA K-Force carbon crankset that's 172.5 millimeters in length. And then screwed into those pedal axles is a pair of Look Keo carbon blades, and the release tension on those is 16 Newton meters. Now this is probably what's most interesting, is that there's no power meter on this bike, which is probably a rarity in the peloton these days. Who knows, maybe he is going to have one fitted ready for the big depart, but right now he doesn't. Now, surprisingly, for a professional's bike, this one is really rather clean of finishing touches, to be perfectly honest. Now, on the handlebars, yeah, we do have a mount there ready for the Wahoo Elemnt Bolt GPS. And of course, we've got Elite Custom Race Plus bottle cages. Other than that, though, there's no mount for a number, there's no cables being shrink wrapped together, because of course, there's no cables to do that with, only the brakes. It's surprising. I must just point out though, that this rear wheel does have the initials WB on it. Maybe they're from Warren Barguil's bike, so I don't know. But other than that, yeah, there's nothing at all. After all, these bikes have been put together really at the last minute for this year's Tour de France. Let's look at the measurements then, shall we? Well, from the top of the saddle to the centre of the bottom bracket, that's 75 centimetres. And then from the tip of the saddle to the centre of the bars, 54.5. And the drop from the saddle to the handlebars That's 12.5 centimetres. Now the weight of it comes in at just over the UCI's minimum weight limit, 6.83 kilograms, so it's ultralight just like the name suggests. So there we are, Amaël Moinard's BH Ultralight bike. Let me know what you think of it down there in the comment section down below, and also a big thanks to those guys for putting it together for me and allowing me to film right now. Now, as ever, like and share this video with your friends. Tell them all about it. After all, maybe they're in the market for a brand new bike. Remember as well to check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com, where we have a whole heap of goodies just for you. Now, for another great video, how about clicking down here for another pro bike?